Hey guys, hope you've been having a great weekend. I saw this rather interesting meme posted over on Twitter. The meme goes, what millennials consumed, and we can see female characters such as Zelda and Tifa and Claire Redfield. And then on the bottom we can see what millennials produced, and it's a whole bunch of corporate DEI slop. I don't even know the names of most of those characters, but I can see a few that I recognize. For example, some characters from SSK the JL. I think the Forspoken main character's in there. And you know what? I think Abby from The Last of Us is in there too. But yeah, it's odd how angry and miserable the majority of these characters look, if not all of them. This is causing people to talk about how millennials have been affecting gaming. Now, first of all, I know there's a lot of millennials that don't like the slop that we're seeing on the bottom part of this meme, and many of those millennials have been calling that stuff out. So yeah, don't worry, of course, not all millennials are partaking in that stuff. And I also think the type of millennials who played the games on top of this meme are not the same types who are creating the stuff that's on the bottom of it. But it does still raise an interesting discussion to be had. I myself have noticed that a lot of the corporate types who propagate things like DI slop do seem to be millennials. You can see this on their own company pages, for example, certain gaming studios and definitely a lot of those consultancy firms. This can also be further tracked back to things like their own LinkedIn profiles. So while there is definitely, as mentioned, a lot of based millennials out there who don't like this stuff, it does also still make you wonder how the subset of millennials out there who don't seem to even like games and despise gaming culture, etc., still ended up infesting the industry so much. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's take a look at some of the responses. This one from Nate says, I swear Western video game studios all focused on hiring every social reject millennial freak they could find to fill their ranks, and it's done insane damage. If Western studios don't weed these losers out, they'll continue to collapse. One from Xylon saying, I'd blame it on studios being hijacked by social activists rather than millennials being all at fault. Millennials made the indie sector rise, and there's lots of beauty there. Big studios who have Boomer and Gen X boards shoved activists down to devs. First of all, base Namamoto profile pic. And yeah, once again, to be fair, it's not all millennials doing this stuff. There's definitely other generations also involved. Now, on the flip side of the coin, some people are actually getting offended by this meme. This response, for example, saying, just say you hate black people, dog. Just be honest. Notice how Sheva Alomar is excluded from what millennials consumed. I'm not familiar with that character, but I looked her up. Apparently, she's from Resident Evil 5. But the games referenced in this meme that millennials consumed are all way older than that. For example, the original Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, the real question is, why do so many of these so-called activists at these AAA studios so often make their new black characters terrible representation? And then there's also plenty of non-black characters on the bottom portion of that meme. For example, whoever the heck they are. I was trying to figure this out, and then I realized the third character from the right, isn't that character from that freaking like women in gaming body positivity Dove ad? In the direct replies, we've got this comment from Anaz saying, is this how Gen Z views millennials? And our very own Permaband responds saying, nah, this is how everyone, including other millennials, view millennials. And lastly, we'll take a look at this response from A.T. Jameson. Reads, the millennials that grew up playing as those were bullied and castigated by their peers. The ones producing slop are the ones who bullied them and are only in it now because it's become cool and acceptable. We've seen similar things occurring in the anime industry as well. But yeah, let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Consider liking and or subscribing if you enjoyed the coverage, and I'll see you in the next one.